All right, look, folks, let's talk about Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, now slapped with a federal trespassing charge, whining that he's going to confer with his lawyers and sue because they completely violated his rights. Oh, and get this. He's crying. They obviously targeted me. Targeted? Really?
In a day that's really outraged a lot of people, including myself. Have you thought about taking any legal action in light of what took place today and what happened to you?
Well, I mean, we're going through this process now, and obviously I will confer with my lawyers to figure out what's the best pathway forward on this. I think they completely violated my rights. I'm the mayor of the city. I have the right to go anywhere in this city.
And well, you see, no, you don't. And that's part of the problem here with these Democrats and these elected officials who think that they are above the law and can do anything they want. They have I can do anything I want and get away with it badge. You don't work for Sector 7, dude. No, Ras Baraka's claim that as mayor of Newark, he has the right to go anywhere in the city without risk of being criminally charged for trespassing is not true. Mayors, like all individuals, like all people, are subject to federal, state, and local laws, including those governing trespassing. No legal authority grants a mayor unrestricted access to all properties within their city, especially those under federal jurisdiction or privately owned. And I'll leave some of these up on the screen so you guys can see it here. But in conclusion, Ras Baraka's assertion that he can go anywhere in Newark without risk of trespassing charges is legally inaccurate. Federal facilities like Delaney Hall are outside his jurisdiction, and private properties are protected by state trespassing laws. I mean, can you imagine this guy kicking down the door and busting into your house because he says, I'm the mayor and I can do whatever I want? His arrest reflects the application of these laws, though the circumstances, for example, whether he was targeted or received adequate warnings, remain disputed. As mayor, he has no special exemption from criminal trespassing charges when entering restricted areas without authorization.
Particularly in places where I think our laws are being violated. I went on up on in a driveway with our healthcare inspectors and our fire inspectors early on, and we've been doing that for the last couple of days. They've been ignoring us. And actually, the Congress people who have oversight on this went onto the property and tried to get inside, and they made them wait over an hour, and they never got in. Never.
They mentioned that, and one of the things that the congresswoman I spoke with alluded to is that she thinks they were tipped off, that perhaps they were tipped off to you coming. I don't know. Of course, this all needs to be looked into, but the nature of your arrest with masked members of ICE just felt, and we've all seen the video, I mean, incredibly suspect, just watching it.
It was terrible.
Go.
They obviously targeted me. It was more. I wasn't the only one out there. They came directly to me, right? And tried to arrest me. No one else, me. And so I honestly believe, I was targeted there.
I don't think this guy even knows what that word even means. This guy here was as much targeted as this lady here was for walking outside of this door. Yeah. Come on now, give me a freaking break. When you actually break the law, you don't get to play the victim card and scream targeted like it's some grand conspiracy, dude. It's called consequences, Ross. Yeah, maybe try looking it up. Look up the definition. But this is classic Democrat playbook, right? Isn't it? They never, ever just say, I'm innocent. Think about it. Ras Baraka's out here moaning about his rights, but not once did he say, I didn't do it. The same energy as Letitia James, Big Tush in New York, who's always dodging with baseless claims when she's called out, but never has the guts to say, I'm clean.
She finally spoke out to this on Thursday, and here is what she said on New York Spectrum One.
Let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless. The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. As any good attorney, I will not litigate this case in a camera. It's important that we will respond to these allegations at the appropriate time and in an appropriate way.
Now she doesn't want to litigate cases on camera, Steve.
If those facts are the case, I hope the DOJ in the Southern District of New York are moving rapidly to do a quick investigation, panel a grand jury, and let's get on with it. This is another thing about it. Let's just move off on it. It's pretty straightforward, right? On the facts that have been presented. She's presented no counterfacts about this. It looks pretty egregious. And I think it was done at the same time that she was dropping these charges, these phony charges on President Trump. So what's good for the goose is better for the gander. I would say let's get on it and get on it quickly. This is what I'm saying about we got to have a sense of urgency. I would hope we would be seeing, if the facts are the case and you have to have an investigation, you would be seeing an indictment pretty quickly. And let's perp walk her into federal court and see. She says she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it on TV. That's fine. We'll do it in a court of law, but get on with it.
I saw this comment on a video I uploaded last night and it nailed it. How come Letitia James only says baseless claims but never says she's innocent? Bingo. Bing bong. They dodge, they deflect, they cry, targeted, but they never own up. Why? Because Democrats think that they're above the law. And worse, they think that they can spew any nonsense and we're all just supposed to nod along like brainwashed sheep, drinking water. It's not just Baraka or James, it's the whole left-wing machine. They're masters of fake news, propaganda, and rhetoric designed to fool, or at least attempt to fool, the American people. Biden didn't work. But we're not stupid. At least I know I'm not. And I know you're not either, right? So let's break this down. The left loves to push narratives that fall apart under scrutiny. Take the economy, for example. They'll tell you inflation's under control, but go to McDonald's and tell me that with a straight face.
This out. French fries used to be $1.79. Now they're $4.19. I need some help with this. Let me bring in Rin Mack, head of economic research, and he'll do that. Neil, I mean, to me, this is the story. And from 2019 to 2024, a cheeseburger went up 215%. What I'm curious about it, was there a time where economists felt like maybe a burger, like eggs, are inelastic, like you can keep raising prices, but they were still cheap enough no one would blink?
Well, at some point, I mean, people are going to start responding to higher prices, and that might be happening. But I think the bigger story, Charles, is that labor markets are slowing down, and that's probably going to affect their consumer base more so than prices at this point.
What about, I don't know how you weigh this, but the reporting has been ultra negative, right? You look at Michigan sentiment,
sure.
Unsolicited responses. I heard something negative about the economy or the administration. There's never been anything like this. Can the negative stories in themselves have a self-fulfilling impact?
At some level, I mean, one of the ways bad things happen is through an element of surprise, right? I mean, remember, going into the year, everyone thought things were going to be fine. And we had a very big downward revision to GDP growth expectations inside of 4 months.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Not possible. And I don't want to go to McDonald's, so don't go to McDonald's. Charles Payne on Fox News laid it out plain as day. From 2019 to 2024, a medium French fry went from $1.79 to $4.19. A McChicken, yeah? What do you think? Up from $1.29 to $3.89. 10 McNuggets, yeah, not $4.49 anymore. Try $7.58. A freaking cheeseburger was $1 and now it's $3.15. And some of these are over a 200% increase. It's not inflation, folks. That's robbery. That's price gouging or price gauging, depending on who you ask. And who's in charge while this is happening? Oh, yeah, of course. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and their Democrat cronies. But they'll gaslight you. Say it's corporate greed or global supply chains. No. It's their policies tanking our wallets. Fortunately, we don't have to eat McDonald's. So I encourage you all to exercise a bit of restraint and demand destruction. Now, but it's not just the economy. The left's propaganda machine is everywhere. Look at how they handle crime. They'll scream systemic racism or over-policing while cities like Chicago and San Francisco drown in violence.
We're looking for the woman in question to be charged.
You need to charge Shiloh.
Many in the community feeling uneasy.
I'm a black person myself and I have black children, and I worry about them every day when they go outside.
Speakers included officials from Rochester's Community Engagement Response Team.
Justice needs to be more than a word right now. It needs to become a standard, okay?
A representative of the Somali community.
The pain this child endured is a pain that echoes through every one of us.
And Mayor Kim Norton, who spoke on the city's effort to condemn racism and create a safe community for all.
The city of Rochester stands with you against all forms of discrimination, racism, and hate.
It's time to stop marching and we got to show some action.
As this story continues, protesters say they will continue to speak out against hateful speech and racism in the community. Reporting in Rochester.
But when a Democrat like Baraka gets caught breaking the law, suddenly it's, I'm targeted. Hypocrisy much? Or take the border crisis. They'll call it humane immigration policy while millions pour across illegally, overwhelming communities and spiking crime. But if you point it out, you're a xenophobe. Classic deflection. Then there's the media, their biggest megaphone. Remember, Russia, Russia, Russia?
The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts. Had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. Person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
For years, they pushed the Trump-Russia collusion hoax with zero evidence to smear a duly elected president. When the Mueller report found nothing, did they apologize? No. Nope. Not at all. They just moved on to the next lie. I mean, if you think about it, what lie are they on now? When's the last time you heard about the price of eggs? When's the last time you heard about Elon Musk? When's the last time you heard about any of the lies that they perpetuate and present just to throw people off and distract them from what's really happening? That's all they do. They just move on to the next lie. Impeachment over a phone call? January 6th as an insurrection, or calling MAGA voters deplorables and threats to democracy. It's all projection. They accuse us of what they are actually doing. Cough, cough, big tish. Dividing the country, rigging the narrative, and dodging accountability and committing mortgage fraud. And don't get me started on their COVID nonsense. They shut down schools, crushed small businesses, and pushed masks and mandates while they partied maskless at their affluent elite galas.
California strongly discouraging trick-or-treating on Halloween, which is tomorrow, by the way. And look at these guidelines for Thanksgiving. Parties should not have people from more than 3 households. Parties can't be longer than 2 hours. And no singing, shouting, or chanting. Hey, Steve Hilton, host of The Next Revolution, is with us now. You're a California guy. What on earth is going on with this? Look, we've just outlined these ridiculous rules. Is there any pushback against these rules?
There is, but I mean, look at these stories one after another. The gas prices, the Disneyland being shut down, and all of this. I mean, anyone might conclude that this state is run by a bunch of incompetent, virtue-signaling leftists who have no clue about creating jobs, wealth and opportunity, and instead want to micromanage us to death with their woke nonsense and pseudo-scientific bureaucracy. You might conclude that fairly, looking at what's going on.
Yes, you would. But again, no pushback. I mean, this is the United States of America. Okay, so it's California. But these kind of draconian restrictions, isn't Gavin Newsom the guy who said you can eat with a mask on, you just have to take the mask off between mouthfuls, something like that? I mean, is there no pushback here? Come on.
There is. There are some people, I think you could loosely use the term celebrities to describe them, who've been pushing back, and that's been reported. You certainly see a rising political opposition to Gavin Newsom. There's a recall petition out there. It's gaining signatures. I don't think it's going to be enough to put that over the top so that actually Gavin Newsom can't serve out his full term. He's only got 2 years left anyway. But there is a rising tide of opposition. I firmly believe, Stuart, that one day, it's not going to happen quickly, but one day, certainly within our lifetimes, California will flip. It will become a Republican state because people have had enough of it. It is rising. You're seeing people saying this privately now. It's still not politically correct to support the Republicans here, but I think it's going to change.
You don't know how old I am, do you? But we'll move on.
Remember Gavin Newsom at the French Laundry? Rules for thee, but not for me. Or how they censored anyone questioning the vaccine or lab leak theory, especially on Facebook, calling it misinformation. Only for those conspiracy theories to be spoiler alerts and to start looking pretty plausible right about now.
You've made a lot of people mad, haven't you, Mr. Patel?
Seems so, Senator.
You think maybe you've made the right people mad?
As my FBI agents, the BRIC agents told me when I was running cases with them across this country and around the world, if you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
My colleague and friend Senator Durbin called you a conspiracy theorist. You remember that?
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was the lead investigator.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0.
It's all about control, not truth. The left's rhetoric is a house of cards, and they weaponize buzzwords like equity, inclusion, or climate justice to push socialist policies that wreck our economy and freedoms. They'll say defund the police while living behind gated communities with private security. They'll cry about gun violence, but ignore the illegal guns flooding Democrat-run cities or the guns given to illegals by actual freaking judges.
This judge just got caught housing an alleged illegal gang member in his home. You heard that right. We have a system where Democrats are more loyal to foreign terrorists than American citizens. Democrat Judge Joel Cano, who's also a former police officer, just resigned after ICE arrested an alleged Trinidad gang member living in his home. 23-year-old Christian Ortega Lopez is a Venezuelan national with ties to one of the most brutal transnational gangs on the planet. Ortega Lopez was caught on photos with AR-15s, handguns, suppressors. He was seen at a shooting range, and this Democrat judge let him file immigration paperwork using his own home address. Judge Cano didn't just house an illegal alien. He helped a terrorist.
And when they get caught, like Baraka, like Letitia James, like Big Tush, like Roz, like Hunter Biden, they don't admit fault. They just scream targeted and hope their media buddies spin it. But here's the thing. We see through it. The American people, the MAGA movement, the patriots who love President Trump and this country, we're not buying the lies, at least not anymore. We know the real threat isn't Trump or his supporters. It's the Democrat machine that's been fleecing everybody, gaslighting, and trying to turn America into something it's not. I hope you guys are done being fooled, because I know I'm done with the fake news. I'm done with the double standards and the whining. It's time to take our country back. And right now, 2025, with Trump leading the charge, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening right now in this country.